What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm bringing you 7, yes, 7 very specific fragrances. Now that we're moving on, at least where I'm at, we're fully into fall, and we're going to be pushing into winter weather even. At the recording of this, yesterday it snowed pretty thick snowflakes and a nice flurry for a few hours. So I've been getting that fall-winter type of mix, so I felt like it was a good time to talk about some more affordable, cheap options that are long-lasting and just built for this cold weather. Let's discuss. Stay tuned. Can be found for right around 45 bucks is kind of going rate for this one. It's technically more inspired by / clone of Initio's Oud for Greatness, but we're talking about Afnan's Supremacy and Oud. This is a magnificent take on Oud for Greatness. Super strong too. Has that heavy saffron Baccarat Rouge 540 type of saffron note going on here. That mass appealing kind of sweet oud that Oud for Greatness is known for, and it's a monster in performance. This is an X-straight. I don't know the exact oil concentration, but it's well above 25% for sure. X-straights are 25 and above, and this stuff just goes and goes and goes. It's a beast projector, it's massive sillage, and it's every bit of 12 hours. This stuff is really, really strong, and the quality is surprisingly good. Afnan continues to impress me with the quality of their fragrances, with the oils that they use, specifically in the Supremacy line. And this is kind of the, I guess, almost privé portion of the line with Supremacy and Oud, and then, why am I drawing a blank? Not Only Intense. Kind of the same thing, where it's just this higher quality take that inspired by certain fragrances, but has a little bit of something different to offer in the scent profile. Whereas here, it's not one-to-one with Oud for Greatness, but you can definitely tell they were going for Oud for Greatness, and I think they made a fantastic standalone fragrance here. One that should be checked out if you like anything about Oud for Greatness. And you want a monstrosity performer with fantastic quality for a great price, you might want to check this one out. It's Afnan Supremacy and Oud. Next, there's no denying how good this one is for most. Even though I don't wear it that often, I can't deny it's a great cheap fragrance that's got a lot to offer from a scent profile standpoint and definitely from performance. It's Jesus del Pozo. This is Halloween Man X. Once upon a time, not long ago, super hype beast. And in its own right, it deserves a lot of the hype it got. Admittedly, to me, the opening's a bit harsh and chemically synthetic. Not too harsh, but more on the chemically synthetic side. But after a few minutes, it starts to settle into this sweet and roasted coffee. This dark, kind of dark roast, almost earthy-like roasted coffee note. But like I said, there's a lot of sweetness here. There's almost this wet cement type of note to it, as odd as that sounds. It kind of works in its favor. Not the most complex of fragrances. Pretty linear overall. Kind of what you get in the first few minutes, you're going to get for the majority of the life of the fragrance. But the life of the fragrance is in that 8+ hour territory. This stuff lasts and lasts. I've had people tell me they get 10 or 12 hours. I get more in that 9 to 10 hour range myself. And you can find this 4.2 ounce for a really good price. Kind of in that $30 to $40 price point is where you can expect to get this one. Used to be a few dollars cheaper than that, but it's still pretty cheap overall. It's just a great reach for this time of year because it has a lot of those darker, smoother elements that you really like for the cold weather. Definitely cuts through it really well. Jesus del Pozo, Halloween Man X. Next, I just got this in today at the recording of this video. This fragrance is what inspired this video topic in the first place. Had it on my hand for most of the day. I just got out the shower, so it's, yeah, I can still smell it. It survived for the most part through the shower. The day this video goes live, this will be my scent of the day, is the newest release from Happyland Studio. This is called Signature Gold. So Signature Gold is a, I guess you could say, more refined take on the original of the extremely popular Happyland Signature, which is a very sweet tobacco fragrance. Though admittedly, one of my least favorites from Happyland, this trumps it in every way in my opinion. This is an extremely wearable, dry, warm wood type of oud with a lovely benzoin amber combination that gives this sticky, resinous, ambery feel. There's a lovely sweetness throughout. It just gets smoother and smoother as it dries. I spent about 3.5 to 4 hours roughly with it on my hand before I took my shower. And like I said, the day this video goes live, I will be wearing this, giving it a full wear as my scent of the day. I'm digging this. This and Inlandish, I believe, are EJ's Best two releases of 2022, because he did release roughly a handful of fragrances. All were great fragrances. Not a single dud in his releases this year, but I think this one, because of the wearability for what it is, stands tall above the rest. Is probably my main suggestion based on his newest releases for you to try. $55 for this 50 ml before you use any of the 20% off codes. Gold 20 will save you 20% for this launch. TLTG 20 is always active, will save you 20%, and it puts it right there in that bona fide cheapy territory. And trust me, nothing about a Happyland fragrance, not a single one of them, isn't super long lasting. And it's the newest release from Happyland. It's called Signature Gold. We've officially moved into Bentley for Men territory with the seasons. We're talking about Bentley for Men, the original, of course. It's no secret if you've been watching my channel for a while. I prefer the original to the Intense. I do have both. I do like the Intense, but I love the original. So much more wearable, smoother overall, not as harsh and rough and rugged. It doesn't have all of the smokiness, which typically I do like, and the edgy, rough and animalic leather, dense woods. Here it's more about booze and spice. It's more about the rum and the spices. The bay leaf, it still adds that nice herbaceous feel. You don't have any of the smoky nuance here. Like I said, it's smoother, still extremely masculine, and still a great performer. This is every bit of a 10-hour fragrance with really good projection in the first 2 to 3 hours, and it settles into a pretty decent sillage where within, a reasonable amount of space when you walk by somebody, they'll definitely smell you if they're breathing through their nose. This is in the $30 and below price point, depending on where you can find it online. Not chemically synthetic, absolutely does not smell like a $30 fragrance. And it's pretty damn hard to beat, in my opinion. If you weren't a fan of the Intense, maybe it was just a little too much for you, maybe give this one a try. This might be the answer, because for me, it's the superior version of the DNA. It's also the original. It's Bentley for Men. This next fragrance is a flanker to one of my favorite blue fragrance releases of all time. The color of this bottle is very fitting. It is a very green fragrance. Still has a little bit of that juniper that the original is known for. We are talking about Rochas, but here we're talking about the Aromatic Touch flanker. This one I was able to scoop up for around $36 from FragranceNet not too long after it released, after the 37% off discount code. I was very surprised at how quickly this new release, great new release, got cheap. Here you're going to get a lot of fresh and dense greens. You're going to get a little bit of both. There's a little bit of an herbaceous spice to it. A lot of woods here. It's very aromatic, as you would expect as within the name. The main aromatic being that juniper note that kind of ties it into the original. I don't get as much of a geranium hit. I don't remember the note breakdown exactly, but it is very aromatic, very fresh and green, dense greens mixed with fresh greens, and a lot of woods. It's not the most complex and deep fragrance, but it does smell like it's deeper than it actually is. Like, as you explore the scent profile, as you sniff longer and longer, you'll start to pick up different subtle nuances throughout kind of the flavor of the scent profile, if you will. Beautiful fragrance for this time of year. A solid 8 to 10 hours on my skin. It's pretty damn hard to beat, and you can get it so cheap. It's a 2022 release. The original's great. The flanker's great. I can't wait to see where they continue to go with this line, because so far, they're 2 for 2. Again, we're talking about Rochas Aromatic Touch. For this next one, I had to go back to the well with Afnan, because, like I said, their quality continues to impress me, especially for the price point. This is their version of Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. We are talking about 9 p.m. This has gotten a ton of hype over the last couple of years. A lot of hype this particular year. Let me get it to focus. That would just be... Well, there we go. So this particular bottle is very heavy, thick glass, thick metal cap. You can get this sub $40 most places. Some places you can find it $25, $30. And I got to tell you, if this isn't a beast on your skin, it's your skin. I've had people message me in comments on the review video that I did a while back on this one, asking about batch codes. Actually, this happened like yesterday at the recording of this video. Don't worry about batch codes. If you're interested in the fragrance and you buy the fragrance, just spray the fragrance and enjoy it. Whatever performance you get, that's a skin chemistry thing. It's not always some batch variation where they're just purposefully lowering oil concentrations or anything like that. This is an amazing eau de parfum fragrance that has the longevity of a ridiculously high oil concentration extrait, but still the projection of an eau de toilette and the sillage of the eau de parfum concentration that it actually is, where it's pretty stout and airy and has a pretty large scent bubble. This stuff is ridiculously strong on my skin. This is actually more powerful than what it's cloning. For me, anyways. I have Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. That's a great and really strong fragrance. This is actually smoother, a little bit fruitier, because it's an apple fruitiness versus the pear fruitiness that you get in the original Ultra Male. And it's just absurdly powerful. Sweet, spicy, all the things that you could enjoy about Ultra Male, but smoother and honestly, higher quality overall for less money. That's why I had to feature it. I stand by this fragrance. I think this is one of the better fragrances you can buy from the house, bar none. That's why it had to be in this video, because it's affordable, it's a great performer, the quality's good, and it definitely suits the seasons. Again, we're talking about Afnan's 9 p.m. Last but not least, this is one I kind of want to reach back in my collection to wear because I haven't spent much time with it in a while. It's a beautiful violet honey combination, believe it or not. We're talking about Roberto Cavalli Uomo, the original. So I know the La Note flanker gets a lot of love. I'd love for this to focus. That would just be peachy if it would focus. I guess it doesn't feel like it's necessary for it to focus. Oh well, you get the idea. Certain bottles with this particular camera, when it has a good reflection, it won't focus, but whatever. Doesn't take away from this sweet, thick, creamy, floral, and powdery scent profile. Beautiful. There's a lot of other things going on here, but the main two notes that you're going to get from this is honey and violet. The violet here, like I said, it's more of a bright, floral, and powdery tone. Don't think violet like Dior Fahrenheit, kind of petroleum vibe. Don't think aquatic, ozonic, violet leaf. Don't think any of that. Think of the most, I guess, rich and robust floral tone that you can get from a violet note. It's kind of what you get here. I'm not sure if there's other notes that are kind of enhancing that scent of the violet, but it's beautiful. And this one's every bit of an 8 to 10 hour fragrance on my skin as well. 60 ml like this, going to run you right around 30 bucks. Hard to beat because you don't need many sprays. This is one that you don't have to heavy spray if you don't want to. I know some people like to heavy spray the heaviest of heavy fragrances. I get it. Hey, to each their own, whatever you want to do. But I've never needed more than 5 to 7 sprays of this fragrance. 7 sprays is definitely on the heavy side for me because it's so strong. I want to spray it again because it just smells so good. On the more unique side when it comes to a sweet floral for men, because I haven't smelled this particular combination in scent profile and other fragrances that I own. I have a lot of sweet fragrances. I have a lot of floral fragrances. But I don't have so many sweet florals that feature honey and violet in this manner. It's quite the unique combination, to be honest with you. It's cheap. It doesn't smell cheap. It performs great. Cuts through the cold. It fits every aspect of this video topic, basically. So I had to put it in here. Again, that's Roberto Cavalli's Uomo. Well, that's the 7 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 7, do you have any of these, or have you tried them, and what do you think about them? I'm very curious on you guys' thoughts. And if nothing else, did anything you heard in this video spark your interest to where you're like, you know what, you need to try that one or these 2 or whatever? I'd love to read it down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 7 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.